Speaking of reasons to be cheerful, we've only got Sykesy back for the Grass Chronicles Part 2. The unrivalled runaway success of Part 1 means we had to get you back. Unfortunately, there's a barrier between us because once again, I am banned from the pitch here at the Soup. Great to see you, mate. How are you?
Very good, sir. How are you doing?
Yeah, really good. You've had so much love and sort of goodwill after your last appearance. We had to get you back.
Amazing.
You've become even more of a celebrity here than you already were.
Amazing. And I'd like to thank everybody. Like a lot of people have said to me, "Wow, how did you work that? How did that work so well?" And I tell them honestly, it was a very stressful day. A nice guy asked me 4 questions or 5, and I answered them. There was nothing, and I was very humbled by the feedback. Lots of views, and I tried to make sure that we thanked every single person. So if you see Campercast thanking you out there on Twitter, that's me. Yeah, so thank you very much, and it was a wonderful experience that I was very humbled by. Thank you very much to everyone.
Good plug in there for Campercast as well. Make sure you check it out when you've got time.
It's only one episode deep, there's not much more to go, but anyone wants to be a guest in the future, yeah, get on Campercast.
So as of today, there are more episodes of the Grass Chronicles than there are of Campercast.
Good point.
So let's crack on with the episode then. It is a bonkers time of year. Everyone's talking about shutting down work because it's Christmas time. It's the exact opposite for you. You've got 2 games in 6 days. Yeah. Let's start with today. As always, the pitch looks incredible. What's the preparation been like?
Difficult, because it doesn't matter what I do at this time of year. It's water is my biggest problem. So if it doesn't form, and clouds are not above here, the temperature goes very cold. You can feel it in the air tonight. It might drop. So I've now got to be thinking right now about next week's match and putting frost sheets down already. And I probably won't be here, so it's my assistant doing it. So I've got to plan all the logistics of that ahead. If it doesn't do that, it doesn't mean I get an easy time, because then there will be some rain falling. I've got to make sure that it doesn't have any puddles on here. I could lose a match, or the dreaded S word that I don't say. You can slide along the S word on skis and snowboard, but we're not allowed to say it here. It can only happen over in the Alps. But yeah, that word. Never say that, Dave.
Okay, that's banned. So you say frost sheets then. Is that literally covering the pitch if that needs to be done?
Yeah, we have quite an intricate system. It's quite interesting. Again, remember that it's a sad grounds we're talking about. Some people might not find it interesting, but yeah, it covers us to about -5. They're around the back there. I bring them out with a tractor. 12 sheets cover this pitch. Each is 10 metres long by 70 long by 10 wide. They're very heavy, so I have to be rolled up with a team of men, blown up on these big sausages that we push out, and yeah, that's always fun at 4 in the morning. But yeah, it's part and parcel. That's why it looks. A big question that fans always ask me is, how do I get my lawn like this? And then once I've been talking for 5 minutes about spiking it all over, putting sand out, covering it up with sheets, they go, okay, yeah.
Well, Grass Chronicles Part 3, we've already got Part 3 planned. We're going to be going into a bit more detail. Apparently you've got some science experiments for us to really get the visual of it. You talked about your assistant then. Does that mean you've got boss's privileges and Christmas Day off?
Yes and no. Back to the point you were making about 2 matches in so many days. We've also got the women's match, because we had a cancellation just before. So there's a third match there 2 days after that, so it all builds up. So I've got training for the boys on New Year's Eve. So what that translates to is I can go away for a week, chill out-ish, and then I've got to come straight back on the 30th, and I'll be probably cutting out here on New Year's Eve, and then I'll be making sure the boys don't fall down any foxholes on New Year's Eve itself. And then 2 days after that was another match, so works out quite well. Growing up in Blackpool, spending a lot of money to go into clubs on New Year's Eve, and I don't enjoy New Year's Eve, put it that way, so I don't mind being here. So it's worked out all right, but my poor assistant has to be in on Boxing Day. I'm
sure he'll have a lovely time, and we certainly will. We'll be back with Harlequins live on Boxing Day. Remember, get it in the diary. What's the best case scenario then? The pitch does look immaculate. Might we expect it to start to look a little bit tired in January, or is it going to continue to look like this throughout the season and this very difficult time of year?
Well, again, thank you for the lovely comments, because it means a lot. You know, there's always a bit of ego involved, and it's very nice to hear the nice comments. But we've had a little bit of luck this year. In the last episode, if we want to call it that, we were talking about how it doesn't matter what happens, it could always go bad. So I'm still waiting on. I could have one bad day with bad rain. It did a hell of a lot of rain last night, so we've been very lucky. It's taking it well. If that had have happened 4 hours later, this could be mullered. So I only need one match. If we could just pan the camera to the centre line where there, can you see how it's getting a bit brown? That's what I don't want to see. And if that starts spreading, back to grass not being able to recover, that's what we could start seeing all over. Luckily, because the weather's been abnormally mild, and I'm trying to be dainty out here, not going with too heavy machinery, it's lasting quite well. But you're always one game away. You know, they say you're only as good as your last beep up. You're only as good as your last heavy game on a pitch when it's natural surface. And then one day we might talk about the differences between different types of surfaces if you ever want to, and why Big Stoop, as I call it over there, HQ, Twickenham, that's a better surface than mine, and that can take thousands of hours, well, 600 hours away. This can only take 200, but that'll be another one. I think that's one for the future.
Big Stoop might be my favourite thing you've said so far. Can't get too
back
mild.
To my assistant, he's been working over there, and he now calls it HQ, and I remind him that it's Big Stoop.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry, Jim, if you're listening.
Have to get me one of these jumpers, and it can't get too mild, or we'll have daffodils popping up on the outside. Final thing then, you talked about that little bit of browning behind us, and it's spreading.
Yeah.
Does it spread? Is that? Okay? Go on.
Well, it's a funny one. I think people, the worst of the worst.
Go on, take the call.
Right. Okay. That's what I think about phones and social media these days, guys. Right. It can't repair once it comes back because the grass is in technically stasis, so I'm trying to stop that happening. Sometimes people think, I'll go on the worn bit so it doesn't annoy the groundsman. It's like, no, I want you to go on the bit that's nice so that repairs, and that's what's difficult for me is I know too much stuff about things that no one else does, and I'm half the time going, do it that way instead.
Sykes, I'm going to let you take that call. It's probably more adoring fans.
Yeah, that's what it is. I just can't. The phone's ringing off the hook these days.
The Grass Chronicles is a hit. Tune in next time for part 3. In the meantime, just like to say thank you again. Have a great Christmas, and we look forward to seeing you in the new year. If you've got a question for Sykes for the Grass Chronicles part 3 and beyond, because it's definitely here to stay, then get involved with our social media. And also, if you hear from Campercast, it's this man saying thank you to his adoring fans.
Can I add one last thing, Dave?
Please do.
One last little thing. I'd be remiss if I didn't say this. My adoring fans, including my sister out there, when I said on the last episode there's only one boss, I just want you to know that I didn't mean God, Dave. I meant clouds. Right? I meant it might rain. Yeah, we're all God. You and me are a portion of God. Everyone out there is God too. I didn't mean the big guy in the sky with a beard. Did not mean that. Okay.
Cheers, Sykes. Good man.